Let's see your arms. You got your. All right. So Aaron's this tall, gangly, skinny dude I'm working with.
Arnold Schwarzenegger right there.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Night's Path Podcast. Matt Kelly here. Got a special guest on today. Aaron Jordan. Welcome, my friend.
Hello, everybody.
All right. So this one's, by the way, technical difficulties with me. So I've got my camera, phone up, and then, my computer. So this is kind of weird for me. I might be chopping in and out, but this is going to be kind of an interesting episode because Aaron and I go way back. We were co-workers when I got out of police work and before I got into the safety field. We worked behind a deli counter together. And then also Aaron was the first iteration of the martial arts system that I teach today. And he got up to brown belt level in that system. And we're here to talk about that. So, and Aaron and I, we talked before I hit record, and that was friggin' 14 years ago when we were training together. So that is crazy. Well, also, that was 14 years ago. And that's also when I started my YouTube channel, because the guy you got brown belt with, Sean, that's why, when I moved from, Aaron and I were in Austin together, I moved out to Waco, and then that's when I started my YouTube videos. So Sean had asked me, hey, can you film some videos so I don't forget some stuff? And then, that's how I started my channel. So a lot of things kind of come in full circle here. But what I wanted to get at was, Aaron, how tall are you?
6'3".
Okay. How much do you weigh? Or how much did you weigh 14 years ago?
I think I was about 170 at the time.
Okay. So 6'3", 170. Let's see your arms. You got your. All right. So Aaron's this tall, gangly, skinny dude I'm working with.
Arnold Schwarzenegger right
there. And I remember working with him, and then I was like, I started showing some stick stuff to another buddy of ours, and then he kind of lost interest. And then I'm like, man, I'm gonna ask Aaron. And I have a nickname for Aaron. I have a loving nickname for him. It's called Double A, because he's tall and skinny, like a AA battery. And his name begins with A-R-O-N, Aaron. So it's like Double A. But I'm like, man, if I can teach this tall, skinny guy that's, you didn't play football or any like big sports like that, like a lot of kids growing up, right? So it's like, all right, if I can teach this guy martial arts and get him good, then it's kind of proof of concept for my system that I was starting to forge. So do you remember your interest in wanting to learn, Aaron?
Yeah, I just wanting to feel more physically confident in myself, and wanting to just quit feeling weak, quit being. I had students who always called me a pushover, and that. And I think it stems from two things. And it was just one, for being just scrawny pretty much my whole life, and being bullied pretty much throughout public school, elementary school, middle school, and high school. And really the physical bullying didn't really stop until I got my growth spurt as a sophomore in high school. But even if the physical bullying stopped, I still let people push me around mentally, and so I was sick of that. So I was hoping for something that could help me gain some more confidence in myself. And taking people's shit, to be honest.
Yeah. So and we're going to talk about the event that, is kind of the point for this video. But the day after, the day that I'm talking about, right? How did you feel compared to, when you were a brown belt? And I'm going to talk about that class we had, but the reasons you wanted to start and how you felt as a man and a human being and physically, confident, where were those two Aarons? You had the Aaron that wanted to start, and then you had the Aaron that we're going to talk about. Night and day. How was your confidence? How was your skills? How was your ability? How did you feel inside?
Definitely. That the day. In that time that I was a brown belt, definitely felt more confident myself. Definitely felt that let me back up and let me just clarify that I've never been in a real fight in my life. I exchanged punches with people, but we always got broken up, but never in an all-out fight. But I did feel at that point that. But I wasn't afraid of it. I was definitely the fear of other people was gone. I was no longer afraid of pissing people off. That oh shit, well, I'll just let him have his way because I don't want to get my ass kicked. So that was gone. It's not like I would go around looking for a fight, but at the same time, I wasn't going to be a pushover anymore. I wasn't just going to let people walk all over me anymore.
Yeah, great. So, no, that's great to hear. And really, one of the reasons I asked Aaron to be on this, it's not our traditional podcast, not the traditional Night's Path podcast that I put on, but Aaron for me was a proof of concept. It was, can I take a person and teach him what I know? And then I was kind of learning as I went too, how I wanted to, what I wanted to have in the system, what I wanted to trim from the system. And, Aaron, you had taken martial arts in the past as a younger man. I think when you were being bullied, and you got up to brown belt in that system too, but I have a name for schools like that. It's buy-a-belt schools, right? As long as you keep paying the money, and they'll keep giving you another stripe, and they'll keep giving you another stripe, and it's
here's your red belt. Okay, here's your brown belt.
Yeah. So you did take martial arts before me, but it was a buy-a-belt school. As long as you showed up, your checks were good, they didn't bounce. They would just kind of blow smoke up your ass and make you, hey, learn this, learn that. And it was really ineffective. So this is a call out for anybody watching to make sure you find a quality instructor that knows what the hell they're talking about. And, as far as me teaching you, you'd never been in a fight, but unfortunately I've been in a lot of them. So, hey, it's probably good strategy to learn from someone who's been in the shit and survived and came out, with all his parts and pieces. So, yeah. So let me ask you this: when we talk about my teaching method, so really, and I want it from your perspective, because to me it's clear as day. But I teach a 2-pattern, a 4-pattern, a 3-pattern, and a universal block, and then pretty much it becomes an endless gyroscope of possibilities after that. Would you concur?
Yeah, I would.
So they can, and that to me, that's, I teach basically 4 basic things, and then from there, everything else can happen. It became a gyroscope of endless possibilities. So that was good. So let me ask you this: was it easy to learn and easy to start getting proficient as you went through the ranks?
Yeah, just practice. We started off as using the sticks to learn all the different patterns that you mentioned, and then from there we then moved on to losing the sticks and just using our fists. And and then just practice to learn those in your head. And so you get to the point where it's just all instinct. So I mean, you kind of do a variation of the pattern in the actual fight, or in our case, when you're sparring with your mentor, and so that it's all about getting it all learned, so it's all ingrained in your head, and knowing what move to use when.
Yep.
And then you do it faster and faster to become faster at it. And to use a word other than faster is when your reflex and your speed improves. That's what I'm trying to say.
There you go. Sweet. Well, we also did we armored up. So in Austin, there's this great store that we went to called Play It Again Sports. And they have hand-me-down lacrosse, hockey, football, all these different things. So Aaron and I went there and we got like lacrosse shoulder pads. I think you had some lacrosse or hockey helmets. Yours was different than mine, but I think I had a lacrosse helmet. You had a hockey helmet. We had, I don't remember if you had football shoulder pads. I had lacrosse shoulder pads. I had hockey goalie pants. I think you did too. We had forearm pads. So we would armor up, and we wouldn't fight with padded sticks. We would just go full contact with all this armor on.
I also want to mention that, I had a lacrosse helmet, but you, Matt, you were actually wearing your
Harley Davidson motorcycle helmet?
What? No, your SCA helmet.
Oh, okay.
Your SCA helmet, which was metal, and honestly, even with the hockey gloves that I wore, it still hurt whenever I hit you. So, to be honest, I actually never hit you with my full force because it hurt my hand. I felt like I was hurting myself more than I was hurting you. This is
I should have, open palm me, and then you're not going to hurt your fist, and then So let's go back to a couple of sayings, because when you and I were talking about this, you said there were a couple of sayings that you remember. I'm going to let you. So there was one about the head. Do you remember what I said about the head?
You follow where the head goes, that the head controls the body, so you always follow the movements of the head, because that telegraphs where your opponent is going to go. Is that what you mean?
Well, it's close, but control the head, control the body. If I got control of the head, the body's got to follow, because the head doesn't want to be separated from the body, right? So control the head, control the body. You're close. But then you also, we had a motto in the system. What was the motto?
There is no second attack.
Yep. And the point behind that is it's not that my opponent couldn't attack me more than once, but his first attack became his last, because I would counter attack with such ferocity and such swarming techniques and smothering techniques that they never regain until they're no longer a threat. So that definitely was a motto. There is no second attack. To fight back viciously to the point where they're no longer a threat. And then I definitely taught you and Sean about multiple opponent defense, which is one of the secrets of the triangle. And, you were telling me, what do you remember about that?
I call it the Spartan tactic, because if you're attacked by multiple guys, the best way to fight them is one at a time. So that you're more likely to win the fight if you're taking them on one at a time. So the idea is, just like the Spartans at Thermopylae, try to draw them in a line and force them to fight you one-on-one.
Perfect. That's it. So if you got all these people out here, and then you can start moving them, and then they're starting to follow you in a trail of ants, one in front of the other, then you can fight one guy at a time. No, beautiful. Love it. So very good, Grasshopper. Very good. All right. So let's get to
but hopefully I never have to use it in real life.
It's and when I have a video where I share it with folks, and it's like, I hope you never have to use any of these things that I teach you, but it's better to have the skills and not need them than need the skills and not have them. But I'm glad I had it, because I did fight 5-on-1 and it saved my ass. And it's not a skill that most people wrap their minds around, because, a lot of people think that, the odds of a violent event happening to me is like some rare black swan event. But the thing is, you never know. It can come out of nowhere, and you got to be able to see it before it happens, or once it does happen, immediately be able to react in a predictable and confident way. So that's where we had you. But the day I want to talk about, and the reason I wanted to have Aaron on is there was this one day he and I went out to this park, and we went out to this public park over there in Cedar Park, near where my house was. And we would armor up, and we'd kind of go back around this corner. We had these big giant duffel bags with all our shit in it, and then we just go back there, and then we'd start putting them on. And there was some houses, probably some people like, what the hell? There's two guys padded up, just beating the shit out of each other with sticks. But there was this one day, and it was the greatest day for me as an instructor. So here I am. I'm a triple black belt. I got a 1st degree black belt in Taekwondo. I got a 2nd degree black belt in Shorin-ryu. I got a 5th degree black belt in Chin Dao. And I created my own system. I was creating my own, stick fighting art or method. And former SWAT guy, former defensive tactics officer, and firearms instructor. And this one day, Aaron's a brown belt. We fight, and he whooped my ass. There wasn't a damn thing I could do to keep Aaron from whooping my ass this day. So here I am, this, Billy Badass, multiple black belt, system art creator. This is one of my students, brown belt. And he was like friggin' Neo in The Matrix. He was a second and a half, 2 seconds ahead of me. I was pulling tricks out of my, being deceptive and, feinting. And man, he saw it coming. He was a step ahead of me, and he mopped the friggin' floor with my ass that day. There was nothing I could do to keep him from scoring, and there was nothing I could do to try to score on him, and he just kept deflecting it. So that was a friggin' amazing day for me. I got to eat I got to eat some humble pie that day as well. But, the good thing about it is, hey, man, you whooped my ass. Who's your instructor? Oh, it's me. Hey, good job. But, you and I kind of talked about it. You're like, I'm not giving you more credit than you deserve. I can guarantee you that. I was trying my heart out. You were in the flow. You were in flow state. Everything was just coming together for you. And you were just unbeatable that day by me. So do you remember that day? What do you remember that day? I know it was 14 years ago, and I just kind of threw this on you the other day on Facebook Messenger. It's like, hey, man, you want to get on the podcast? But what do you remember that day?
Oh, just trying to land as many punches on that metal. So bang the bell. I wanted to ring the bell as many times as I could on that metal helmet of yours, and no matter how much it hurt my hand. So just taking the different patterns that we learned with the sticks, and then just trying to get past your defenses and get in there as fast as I could. And I didn't feel that I whipped your ass. But I felt good. I remember that I clearly landed several punches on you, and afterwards you telling me that you had been doing everything you could but you had told yourself, okay, Aaron is not going to get me. He's not going to lay any punches on me, and yet I landed several. So I definitely felt good.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the other thing we would start off and correct me if I'm wrong. That was a long time ago for me as well, but we would do a couple iterations. So we would we would spar, and we would have 2 sticks, and then we would maybe just have 1 stick, and then we would go down to just empty hands. So we would do a couple different, scenarios where we would fight. And, sometimes I remember we would even challenge, like, you got 1 stick, or like sometimes we'd lose a stick because we had these big clunky gloves. And if you lost a stick, then you unless you thought you could bend down and pick it up without the other guy whooping, coming in on you, but it was, oh crap, I can't get it. And then the other guy would try to, kick the stick out of the way, and you're just down to 1 and I got 2, or vice versa, and stuff like that. So it got pretty awesome, man. It was pretty cool. Anything else you remember from those days?
Oh,
or that day?
Yeah. Well, no, that's about it for what I remember for that day. I remember having to replace sticks on a semi-regular break basis because we'd break them.
Yeah.
And yeah, they weren't cheap. But
yeah, we duct taped the living shit out of them. They'd be silver sticks, and then they'd be all soft in one spot, and you're like, man, this isn't gonna. I have to replace this one, or it would start popping. That was funny.
And we're also having to tape a hilt to the rattan because with the gloves, they kept sliding out of the hand.
Yeah, so we would do that too. We would make almost a tape washer at the base of the stick, so we wouldn't lose our sticks. We had lanyard. I remember having loops on mine too, and I remember sometimes it just sticks hanging. It's like crap, and now he's coming at me, and
Yeah, I was about to say is I didn't have lanyards on mine, but you had lanyards on yours, and so as hard as I would try to disarm you, I could never completely do that because of the damn lanyard.
Yep. I'll tell you what, that day, just so everybody knows, I mean, he was scoring on me, and he was missing, and he was juking and jiving and deflecting, and I couldn't score on him. And I started, in my mind, I was like, all right, that's it. He's not going to score another hit on me, and I'm going to get him on this next one. And then I would try, and I couldn't. And then I'd be like, damn it, okay. So I'd try to take a deep breath, center myself, calm down, be like, okay, here we go. I'm going to get him this time. And that day I couldn't do anything. It was friggin' amazing. So a great day for me. One of the greatest days of my life as an instructor, when my brown belt, who was a previous brown belt in a crappy bio-belt school. And then to be able to do so good. I'm so proud of you, man. I'm so proud of you. And then I moved, and then, life happened, and you started following your calling, which was, teaching's always been your calling, and it's been hit or miss here and there. And you had an opportunity to try to concentrate on your career again. And training kind of took a back seat, which I think it does for a lot of people. And that's one of the things too, is, with where I am now, I think a lot of men in today's day and age, especially like our age, middle age or whatever, they're like, I wish I'd have learned karate or martial arts back when I was younger, but that's passed me by now. But it's not. I just want to tell everybody out there, my art and what I teach, it's practical. It's easy to understand and learn. You learn the basics, and you can do it. Anything I can do with 2 sticks, I can do with 1 stick. I can do empty hand. I can do with 1 knife. I can do with a screwdriver and a hammer in each hand. Wouldn't you agree that it's pretty damn versatile to be able to pick up anything and run it and make it work?
Right. That's what learning the motions.
Absolutely.
So muscle memory.
There you go. So Aaron, this has been a joy to have you on. Double A. Great to catch back up with you. And I appreciate that, from my standpoint, just really, really grateful that, you wanted to come on and you could be like a living endorsement and say, hey, I was bullied. I was intimidated. And then, to get to that point where the day of you whooping your instructor's ass and where you were mentally and what that did for you, for your confidence and everything, I'm just very blessed that you were willing to share that with me today, and I could share it in my venue. And so thank you so much. Very grateful.
Yeah, well, hey, it was a hell of a lot of fun. Did it because I enjoyed it.
Yeah. All right, brother. Well, I appreciate it. Let's stay in touch. And, you know, the offer is always open, dude. If you ever want to get back into sticks, you just let me know.
Good to know. So, yeah, so we'll make a trip out to Lorena for so we can go beat each other up again.
Yeah, you can get your chops back for sure. I don't know if you'll ever whip my ass again, but I can't say that because if you did it once, you can definitely do it again. So, all right, brother, take it easy. Thanks for coming on, and we'll talk to y'all later.
All right.